This is a 2015 Polaris Scrambler 1000cc. This one came with the factory power steering, which either the voltage regulator went out or the power steering unit went out. Regardless, according to SuperATV, the power steering unit, which they sell, will not fit, which is true. But with a couple easy modifications, it works just fine. Unfortunately, I do not have my 850 here to show you a comparison of how each one fits. But I'm going to show you what you have to do in order to make this fit. So all of the bolts that I have into this SuperATV power steering kit are loose. So if you see a couple bolts here or there that aren't installed correctly, that's why. So now everything on here is installed as per the directions. The plate is on the power steering unit, the proper. The upper steering shaft is on, and the lower steering shaft is on. Some guys will call it a pitman arm. Some guys will call it a flag. Either way, it's where your tie rods connect to at the bottom. Okay, so I have the tie rods in there loosely. Now, the issue with getting this to work is, number one, is everyone's bike is a little bit different. For instance, this install was much different than my 850's install. I'm not sure why. I don't know if there's a difference in frame from a 15 to a 16, which my 850 is, or if there is some slight variance between a 850 and a 1000, or it's because of quality control, or it's because I've rolled my 850 like 34 times before I put the SuperATV power steering kit on. So what you need in order to accomplish a successful install is you're going to need spacers. And the spacers, let me see if I can get this to, there we go. The spacers are going to go right here. So what I suggest is a couple of longer bolts, spacers of your choice. You can either get a couple of solid spacers, or you can do it the old school way of stacking, what do you call them? Those things right there. And can crush them down. So this essentially is where you're going to need the fabrication to come in. You need to put a couple of longer spacers at the front and shorter spacers at the bottom. Now I've left this bolt out right here so you can see the gap. But the plate is on tight to the actual power steering unit. And then once I make the spacers and get everything down, then I tighten the lower steering shaft and the upper steering shaft. And then I make sure that once I put my tie rods on, that the alignment's correct. Now, one of the things that is kind of strange about this is that you have plenty of room underneath the, actually here's a better way to show it. The power steering unit comes with these little slides, and you can use these to slide the power steering unit back and forth to get you the best alignment possible in case the splines aren't picture perfect from SuperATV. So a little blue Loctite or red Loctite if you're paranoid, and a little ingenuity, and you can get this to work just fine. If you have any questions, let me know. So, one thing I did forget. Now, some racers choose to use an aftermarket greasable fitting from AutoZone. The nice thing about this is you can go ahead and grease in there. Now, this isn't a factory steering bushing. So what you might have to do in order to get this to work is you're going to have to alter this on here. Depending on how your bike is, and depending on the upper shaft steering angle. This one looks pretty good. It looks like the old one is going to fit, but we're going to see. So what you'll need is a Dremel in order to make it fit the way you need it. You'll understand once you get everything together. Again, if you have any questions, please let me know. Thanks for the support, and thanks for all the help.